Bielefeld Sparrenburg Castle and Heidelberg Castle. The questions that are aimed to answer throughout this presentation: who built the castle? Why was the castle built? How is the castle unusual? Where is the castle? Have any major historical events happened at the castle? Bielefeld Sparrenburg Castle. This castle was built in 1250 by the Counts of Ravensburg. This is a map of Ravensburg County. This castle was built after the European discovery of gunpowder. Due to the increased use of cannons and other firearms, the Dukes of Cleves, also known as the Counts of Ravensburg, ordered the expansion of the castle to a fortress and for it to have a cannon. In 1530, a bastion was added. It was only accessible from the castle. A bastion is a projecting part of a fortification built at an angle to the line of a wall so as to allow the defensive fire in several directions. This construction was completed in 1578. This castle was also involved in the War of the Julic Succession. It was in 1609 to 1610 over the Julic-Cleves succession crisis. This crisis was created when the Roman Catholic ruler of the Julic and Cleves counties died without an heir. Two Protestants wanted to claim the throne. France, England, and the Protestant Union of Germany supported the Protestants. The Protestants were opposed by Spain and the German Emperor. The assassination of Henry IV of France, who had been about to invade and help the Protestants, caused the crisis to end. During this war, the castle was granted to Dutch Confederates. The occupation became effective in November 1615. Sparrenburg Castle was also involved in the 30 Years' War. This war was based upon whether the Holy Roman Empire should be Protestant, otherwise known as Lutheran, or Catholic, after the Peace of Augsburg in 1555. He who rules his religion was the motto. By 1600, the majority of people were Lutheran, but the Emperor and Austrian Habsburg was Catholic, along with the politicians, 4 out of 7 electors. Calvinism, which was an unrecognized and therefore illegal religion, became popular. 2 out of 3 Protestant electors turned Calvinistic. This angered the Lutherans and raised Catholic concerns. King Ferdinand of Bohemia was elected. He was Catholic. He outlawed religions other than Catholicism. Nobles revolted and defenestrated his ministers. Defenestration is the act of throwing out of windows. The Dutch retreated before the Spanish army in 1623, and Sparrenburg was given up. Over the course of 1636 to 1637, the Hessians and the Dutch besieged it and gained it back. In 1642, it was left for the French allies. During the Peace of Westphalia, the Grand Elector Frederick William stayed several times at the fortress. 2 of his children were born there. In the 17th century, the Sparrenburg Castle no longer met military requirements, so it was used as a prison. In the 17th century, the Sparrenburg Castle no longer met military requirements, so it was used as a prison. Its outer walls were torn down by the agreement of King Frederick II of Prussia, and the stones were used for the construction of barracks 55, which are still standing. In World War II, Sparrenburg was damaged in an air raid on Bielefeld on September 30th, 1944. The address is AM Sparrenburg 40, 33602, Bielefeld, Germany. Now to answer the questions about Bielefeld Sparrenburg Castle. Who built this castle? The Counts of Ravensburg. Why was the castle built? To be used for military defense. How is the castle unusual? It was handed back and forth between countries many times. Where is the castle? AM Sparrenburg 40, 33602, Bielefeld, Germany. Have any major historical events happened at the castle? It was traded back and forth with the Dutch and French during the Julic War and the 30 Years' War. Heidelberg Castle, aka Auf Heinrich Bau. A castle in this place was mentioned first in the early 1200s. It was mentioned to be in Heidelberg city. 2 castles are mentioned. In 1303, lightning struck the upper castle and it was completely destroyed. In 1400, building activities are first documented. Heidelberg Castle was built by Palsgrave Rupert III, who became King Rupert I. Rupert was also known as Rupert Clem, Ruprecht von der Pfalz, and Rupert of the Palatinate. He was a member of the Wittelsbach dynasty. He was chosen king by the members of the German ecclesiastical electors on August 22, 1400, to succeed King Wenceslas. Wenceslas had been deposed of the day before. He was crowned on January 6, 1401. After he was crowned in Germany, he went to Italy hoping to be crowned by the Pope, Pope Boniface. On October 1, 1403, Rupert finally was recognized by Pope Boniface as king. In 1556, Heidelberg Castle was built. It was the first German Renaissance palace. In 1601, Friedrichsbau was built, and in 1614, Englischbau was built. They are a pair of large residential buildings. In 1610, the palace gardens, Hortus Palatinus, were planned. In 1618 through 1648, during the 30 Years' War, as earlier mentioned, the construction of the castle ended, and the first time guns were raised against the castle happened. 1688 through 1697, during the War of Secession, the castle was destroyed twice by the French. Rebuilding was started twice, but never completed. In 1764, lightning caused a fire during rebuilding. The palace decayed, and Heidelberg citizens used the ruin as a source for building materials. Circa 1800, the ruins became an object of romanticism. Artists would visit Heidelberg Castle for inspiration. In 1810, French Charles Graf von Gremberg initiated the preservation of the castle Heidelberg. The answers to the questions about Heidelberg Castle. Who built the castle? King Ruprecht I, aka Palsgrave Rupert III. Why was the castle built? To serve as a residence. How was the castle unusual? It was destroyed twice and never completely rebuilt. Where is the castle? Schlosshof 1, 69117, Heidelberg, Germany. Have any major historical events happened at the castle? Guns were raised for the first time against the castle during the 30 Years' War. These are the sources.